everybody, and welcome back to another 52-week movie challenge. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. We've got a good one tonight. We've got Sunset Boulevard, which we'll get into why I picked this and how come this is we'll get right all into all that. So without further ado, this is week 11, I want to say. Week 11. So a film that was the that won best original screenplay. So I picked Sunset Boulevard, which won best original screenplay, and I believe in 1950. Aspect ratio is 1.371. Running time is 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe. I think sometimes they say like an hour and 50 minutes and 55 or whatever. It just depends on which one you saw. I saw it particularly on, what is it? I saw it on Pluto TV. I want to buy it. It's only like $10 on Blu-ray. That's fucking steal right there. I gave it 5 stars, and we'll get into that. It's a drama film noir. It stars William Holden, Gloria Swanson, Eric von Stronheim, and like Cecil B. DeMille and a bunch of other people. It was directed by Billy Wilder. It was produced by Charles Brackett, and it was written by both of them, Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett. It was the music was done by Franz Waxman, and the let's see. The awards, it won 3 Oscars: Best Writing, Best Art Direction, and Best Music. So there you go. Why did I choose this particular film? I wanted to check this one out. Have you ever seen this movie before? I tried to watch it before, but wasn't able to, and so wasn't able to finish, or maybe I wasn't interested in it at the time or something. And we'll get into that later after. Would you recommend this movie? Yes, I would. And why? I would recommend it to anyone, and I would anyone interested in just seeing a drama about about life in Hollywood, basically. What is it like to be a fading star, kind of thing? Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with in one way? I guess I said Joe Gillis, but he's the main guy just because he's a screenwriter. But I'm nothing like him. You know, he's apparently written big hits, and then he's now he's not. Best line or memorable quote. I mean, obviously, everybody's favorite memorable quote for that movie is the quote, Mr. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. But which everybody always gets wrong. They always say, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. And that's not the way it was actually said. Now, I know maybe people might argue that's the, I forgot what it's called, but that's a thing where people think like maybe things have been changed through somebody has a time machine, you know, like whatever, like fixing things up and changing lines and everything. People the Mandela effect or whatever. But I don't believe so. I just believe that like people just misquoted it, and it's kind of been famous for being misquoted. But my favorite line, one of my favorite lines, that's the trouble with you readers. You know all the plots. Joe had all the best lines. Sometimes Norma Desmond did, but most of the time Joe did. Were you surprised by the ending, or what would you have done differently? Not really, but sort of. I just remember hearing about the ending or seeing clips. I remember seeing or hearing about it. Unless you read the script, you can only judge a screenplay by the movie. Based on the movie, do you feel the script deserved the award for best screenplay? Yes. Or explain. Yes, yes, I do. It was very well written and a lot darker than I expected it to be, and I loved it. Anything else you'd like to add? Nope, just go watch it. So that's pretty much what I always add. Just go watch it. So even if by some chance I didn't like the movie, which so far I've picked movies that I had a pretty good clue I'd like, maybe I should start picking ones that maybe I might not like and see if I like it or not. That's an interesting way to go about it. But so here's the thing. So Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett made this movie. It's a very well-known, famous movie, and so it says, there's some trivia that I liked, so I'm going to read some of the trivia for it. When Norma Desmond says to the guard at the Paramount Studio gates, "Without me, there wouldn't be any Paramount Studio," the words would apply to Gloria Swanson herself, as she was the studio's top star for 6 years running. Unlike the character she played, Gloria Swanson had accepted the fact that the movies didn't want her anymore. She moved back to New York, where she worked on radio and later television. Although she had long before ruled out the possibility of movie comeback, she was nevertheless highly intrigued when she got to offer the lead. So, I mean, that's another thing. That's interesting that this movie sort of chronicled the life of really what Gloria Swanson herself was like, and everything. I absolutely adored her character. So for those who may not be aware of the movie or whatever, I understand there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, maybe you should watch it first. But basically, the story is this: down on his luck screenwriter, played by William Holden, is he needs a job, any job. He'll take anything right now, just because he doesn't want to lose his car. He's been swift and he's been sneaky, and he's these people are trying to collect his car, and he's hiding it, and he's doing whatever he can, because like that car is the way he gets to the studios and the way that he gets, that's his livelihood. So he's all afraid about losing his car. So he ends up going on the road, and he's no luck, nothing's happening. And the people that are after his car see him driving the car, so they go follow him. So he sneaks into what he thinks is an abandoned mansion, and he goes into the this basically this person's garage and just parks the car in there. And then he finds out that it's owned by this crazy woman who was a fading child star. She thinks she lost it after 50 and nobody wants her anymore, which they don't. And they don't want her because of her attitude. I noticed a few things when I was watching it going, okay, I get why Cecil B. DeMille is not, doesn't really want to work with her anymore. It's because she says stuff like, I can't work, before 10 and after 4:30 or something. Like she has specific times she can only do. She's very, this is the way I am, and if you don't like it, then you don't get me. And that kind of attitude doesn't really fly in Hollywood, from what I've been understood. You got to be accepting, and you got to be grateful and humble of who you are. And she's just this delusional woman who thinks she's, Norma Desmond is the woman that, has kind of made the studio what it is. And like I said, she thought she built Paramount or something. Paramount wouldn't be Paramount if it weren't for me. And maybe that was true for some people, but really no. I mean, I hate to say this, but most actors gotta start getting that, ego down. And hey, look, I get it, because we kind of live in a media age where we hype people up more than they are, but there's got to be humility there. And she didn't really have any. And so she hires this guy to help write her script because he stumbles into her house while she's burying a chimp. That was such a strange scene, but I loved it. And then she ends up becoming like infatuated by Joe. She wants to basically make him her next husband. And we find out later that her first husband is her butler, is the guy that's basically running her life. And that was the first director that discovered her. And now he's just trying to keep her afloat, basically trying to keep her alive and trying his best to help her out. And so at one point she thinks Cecil B. DeMille wants her because there's this guy calling from Paramount, and she thinks that means that he's read the script. Well, what happened was that they went down in this really weird looking car, and that's what they wanted. They wanted that car. They didn't want her. And so she's sort of humiliated when she finds that out later. All the while there's a love story between Joe and his like, I guess, sort of best friend guy. Like Artie is sort of his best, like a close friend of his. And it was interesting because, he sort of gives it up. He gives up the love to just accept where he is with Norma. And I'm like, what are you doing? I like start yelling at the TV, like, what are you doing, Joe? Like, why are you so in love with this, like, so okay with this woman treating you this way? Like, you could just pack up and leave and start a whole new life, and and you could be fine, but he's like all worried about her to the point where she kills him when he leaves. And the ending has this part where and it asked me if I was expecting the ending or not, but I was like, this is just crazy. This whole scene, this whole stuff is just nuts. It was great. I loved it. I guess it was darker than I expected it to be. I knew it was dark, but wow. And it was light. It was very light. It almost felt like sort of like a Hitchcockian thing. If like Hitchcock didn't film noir, in a way. Billy Wilder did such a wonderful job in it. I've always been admired. I've always admired him as a director. But yeah, it's just, it looks beautiful. Everything feels great. It's sort of a satire on the Hollywood and how aging film stars, and ageism itself is like, you have to be young to play the game, and sort of in Hollywood, or at least that's how it was back then. And nowadays it's, I don't know, nowadays I feel great about Hollywood because they're trying to just not be the same way that they were back in the 50s, or 40s or whatever. And so I really love this movie. It's really fun. It's sort of got this cuteness to it. I adored all the characters in the movie. I thought one of the greatest scenes in the movie was the security guards at the gate, and the one guy's like, who's this? And the other guy's like, this is Norma Desmond. Norma was is a big star. We got to treat her like a big star. And, and he just loved her and adored her. And the other one was just like, I don't know who she is. And that's sort of how we are these days. Nowadays it's crazier because we have TikTok stars, and we have YouTube celebrities, and we have Instagram stars, and influencers or whatever. It's like it's seriously like that, where people say, oh, blah 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 is in this movie, and I'll be like, who? And I'm like, oh, from TikTok. I'll be like, no, sort of like that. I wouldn't, I might not have known who Norma Desmond was, maybe, but she knew him. I think she knew the other guy, the guy at the gate, because he used to open the gate for her all the time. So, well, we always let him up for there. And he warned Cecil B. DeMille that she was coming. And there was a great line with that where the guy says to Cecil, wow, she must be ancient by now. And he was like, I don't know what that says about me. I could be her father. It's like, oh, I am so sorry, sir. Like, wow, like that's so true. Like, why do you say that? But it was such a cute thing. And I don't know what movie that they were. I think it was supposed to be a parody of like Cleopatra or whatever. But it was so good. I love that movie. Honestly, this movie is such a great movie, and I adored it. So if you get a chance to watch it, it's on Pluto TV. If you have seen it and you already like it, let me know what you guys think. Like, I adore this movie. There's so much to talk about with the movie, and I could be here for ages. But yeah, it's such a fun movie. I would highly suggest you guys check it out. 5 stars, like literally hands down. This is a fantastic film, but it definitely deserved. I don't know what other films. Let me see what other films were up for Best Picture. Then, let's see. Best, not Best Picture. Best written. Best, I guess, written. Best original screenplay. Best original screenplay. This is so much fun for you guys. I want the list of Academy Award. I want to hear ones that winners and nominees. So 1950, I think it was. 1950. The other ones were Adam's Rib, which I've heard really good things about. Caged, which I've never heard of. The Men, which I never heard of. And No Way Out, which I never heard of. So I would have to watch those other ones, but Adam's Rib I know of. Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Okay, it's like something my mom probably enjoyed, but that lost out to this. And I can see, like, because that sounded like that was a comedy kind of thing. I could see why they'd probably lose out. Like, I think a lot more dramas win Best Original Screenplay because, I mean, it's it's a lot of those things you got to put like things together, But yeah, I think that's about it for this. Let me let you guys know what's next for next week. God, so it's been the 11th week. This is going to be the 12th week coming up. A controversial film. Oh boy. I might have to talk to Paul about what I would do for that one. I don't even know. I know a few controversial films, but I don't know what I would pick. There's a lot I haven't seen that are controversial. So there you go. So I'll probably do something I've never seen and one that I can find online or rent, and there you go. So next week, join me again for a controversial film. Eventually I'll have people here to do episodes with, but for now this whole time I just kind of want to do things by myself. It's just easier because finding 52 people to do this with me would be like hard as fuck. So I'll find like maybe 10 people and do them every now and then, have them on. So we'll see. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Join next week for a controversial film. I have no idea, but I'll know before I do it, and you guys will know what I pick by Monday. So a couple days before it comes out, you'll know what I pick. But yep, hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you guys think of Sunset Boulevard. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Have you not seen it? Do you want to see it? go check it out on Pluto. All right, guys. Bye.